we're on our way to a local trout lake. It's the only one for probably about an hour and a half away is the other closest trout lake. So this one gets fished a ton. I've never had the lake to myself before, so we are on our way there. We're gonna see how many people are fishing it and if there is any space for us to get some lines in the water. I brought some worms and some little ice fishing jigs and just basic lures and stuff. Don't really plan on using very much of it, and we don't have a ton of time. Like I said, it is a pretty busy day, but it's always a good day when you can get a line in the water. So we have trout in the lake. There's lots of sunfish. I've heard that there's bass somewhere in the lake, but I haven't caught any. And that's it. There's no predator fish in this lake because it's a trout hatchery.
Are there any boats allowed in this lake?
No, there is no boats allowed on this lake. You can only go out in waders, and the lake gets deep very fast, so you can really only go out about 3 feet. It's later season, so late fall here in Minnesota, so the benefit of that is the water level is going to be a bit lower. So hopefully we'll be able to get out a little bit further on some of the sandy areas to actually cast out into the middle of the lake, because at its deepest point, this little lake is actually 87 feet, which is why it's a great trout lake. And it's also kind of a natural phenomenon because it's the only lake in the area that's more than like 30 feet. And a cool thing about this lake is it's right by the Mississippi River. So if we fish the lake and decide that it's not really working out for us and we don't want to keep going, then we can just go over to the river and try to catch some catfish. Or maybe some carp. So last time I was here, the water level was all the way up to this. So I was fishing right along this this path here. See what I'm talking about? Like I was casting from right here, and I was fishing those weeds that are now floating on the surface. I spooked them. They're running away. I'll leave them be for now. Well, I was just walking the beach and I saw this, and I'm very curious as to what it is, because it looks to be a broken fishing rod, and looks like that's exactly what it is. Oh, it's very broken. Must have caught a big one. Go ahead and get this out of the lake. Now let's see what happens. First little green sunfish. Come on and see it. Little baby green. Let's get back in the lake. Oh, a little pumpkin seed. Something a little bit different. The nice thing about these cam action hooks is every time you set the hook, it flips the hook up, gets them right in the top of the mouth, and it's super easy to take out. But look at the orange on that one. Beautiful fall fish. All right, let's send him back home. Nothing else on the lake. We're trudging through this wet stuff. I'm very glad I wore the boots today. I'm sure you can see how wet it is. Not the most pleasant stuff to be trudging through, especially after getting skunked. All right, so I've gone ahead and added about an ounce worth of split shot weights onto the rig here. I'm gonna try and get it out a little bit further to where we've been seeing those blow ups. But while we have you up close, another thing that I like to do for trout that I've heard is very important is covering up the entire hook with worm. Trout are very visual fish, so they'll come up and they will check out your bait before they even or ever think about committing to it. So it's really important that you don't have any of that hook visible, because if they see it, they will be gone. They're one of the smartest fish, and they're also one of the hardest fish to catch because of that. So let's get this out there and see if we can fool one of them, shall we?
Very committed.
I'm just trying to get like that extra couple of feet, you know? So we had a pretty uneventful morning here at the lake. A few sunfish, not much other than that. So we're getting a little bit bored, a little bit hot. We're going to head over to the other side of the park where the Mississippi River comes through it, and we're going to try and do some deadlining over there to see if we can pull anything bigger. But other than that, it's been a good morning so far. It is a beautiful day still. So let's get our stuff loaded up and get over to the other side of the park. I got to the riverside, found this cool little, it's a little boat dock here just off this river. But there's a nice little platform that goes right up to the water. It's nice and deep right off this edge. I have never fished here before, but I am very excited. This spot looks awesome. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I rigged up just a little bit of red worm on that same slip bobber we've been using all day. And I've already seen a couple of really, really big carp out here. So like I said, I'm pretty excited to get a line in the water and see what happens. First thing I'm gonna do though before we cast is I am gonna lengthen my amount of drop there, because we do have a little bit deeper water over here on the riverside. So let's go ahead and get that bait out in the water. Yeah, this spot is sick, isn't it? All right, so we were right behind this little pier here, but we moved out to this side in hopes of getting a little bit more action. I was looking off the top of that pier and I did see a nice bass and a pretty sizable carp. He looked real nice, and it looks like we've got a fish nibbling on our bobber here. So hopefully he will munch on it and we will have another fish. Celebrating that I caught a fish.
It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that might be our cue to stop filming. Look at that little guy. Tiny little bluegill. Look at the mouth on him, isn't that big? A little bluegill? Looks almost like a bass bluegill hybrid.